In this lecture, I'll be explaining what insufficient justification and overjustification are, and I just want to give you the heads up that people often find it difficult to distinguish between these two because the word justification is in both of them, and they kind of get slippery on them. So if I were going to be taking a test and I was able to use a note card like you are able to use, I would definitely do something to distinguish between these two terms for myself on the note card, so that if I was taking a test and I got one of these terms, I would make sure that I knew which what was what for each of these things. So just pay attention in this and make sure that you definitely understand the distinction between the two. Insufficient justification occurs when people make an internal attribution because the initial external causes for a behavior are no longer salient. So I'll give an example from my own life of sleeping on my side. So I generally sleep on my right side because my partner sleeps on the left side of the bed. And if I sleep on my left side, I'm going to be poking him with my knees and hands and things like that, and that's just kind of annoying. So I typically sleep on my right side. And I remember thinking, oh man, I just must really like sleeping on my right side. I must find it just really comfortable to be on my right side rather than my left side. And then I went away on a trip by myself, and I was in this bed, and I found myself sleeping on both my right side and my left side. And all of a sudden I thought, oh, I must just sleep on my right side because I don't want to be poking him with my knees if I'm sleeping on my left side. But I had forgotten about that. And I thought, oh, I'd forgotten about that before I went on this trip. And I thought, oh, I must just sleep on my right side because I find it more comfortable than sleeping on my left side. So the external cause for me sleeping on my right side is because my partner sleeps on my left side and I don't want to be poking him in the back with my knees. But I had forgotten about that, and I thought, okay, well, if I'm sleeping on my right side, it must be for a reason. It must be because of something about me. It must be for an internal reason, and it must be because I find it more comfortable to sleep on my right side. So I experienced insufficient justification when I was looking for a reason to explain why I always sleep on my right side. And now we'll talk about overjustification. Overjustification occurs when people make an external attribution because the initial internal causes are not salient. So the distinction between insufficient justification and overjustification is whether you're making an internal or an external attribution. For insufficient justification, it's an internal attribution, and for overjustification, it's an external attribution. So the best example I can think of to illustrate overjustification is professional athletes who follow the money. And there's a pretty famous quote by Latrell Sprewell, who turned down this huge contract because he said, I've got a family to feed. And he was hoping to get paid more money. And unfortunately, this way of thinking is not unique to Latrell Sprewell. There are a lot of professional athletes who seem to lose the sense of wanting to play the game and only play because of the accolades they get or because of the money they get. And, you know, if a coach doesn't start a player, then that player will sulk or will say bad things to the media. Or if a player doesn't get enough fanfare from the team, or they don't get enough endorsements or things like that, then the player might kind of throw a temper tantrum. And the thing about this, why it illustrates overjustification, is most athletes, when they first start playing, love playing the game. And what happens is, over time, they are rewarded with money or with fame for playing, and they forget their initial internal reasons for wanting to play because they love it, and they start thinking that they're doing it for the money or for the fame. And so now, unless they're going to get paid a lot of money or they're going to get a lot of fame or something like that, they will be difficult and won't play. So those professional athletes are experiencing overjustification.